much a changing point, but a celebration point of the changes that have been in place for centuries. And that this current civilization of 5,000 years of human kind developing in the way that they have is coming to a tipping point. And what that is that you won't see the masses that are undergoing this change. You don't have a television network where you get to see the millions of people doing their work privately, individually, people who are being pushed into their own personal evolution. But there are millions of people all over the world participating in just that. And 2012 is the alleged point where that energy shifts to where now there is a new consciousness in the majority of energy. And in order to get to that place, you know, it's not always easy. It's not, you know, a lovely walk in the park. In the next 2 years, you're going to see the collapse of many systems that were of old energy and old structure, and that can be very painful. But just as all of you have gone through transformation in your own life, where you're living in a certain way and suddenly something happens to you that seems to be outside your control. So you don't wake up one day and say, oh, you know, I think I'll have a car accident today to force me to change. But that kind of accident brings about a painful but well-needed change. And that's what 2012 is. You're going to see the next few years, there's going to be some painful, well, there are already, painful but well-needed changes. And that date is like a celebration. It's a day where the world is going to come together and acknowledge and identify that now we are going into a completely new era. It doesn't mean that anything's going to blow up or collapse or switch. It's still the continuum. But think of how many people are anticipating this day. And think of how many people are anticipating this day as the great heralding of a magnificent change. That power is almost as important as the numerical value of it. But things will, you know, on December 13th, 2012, there's not going to be much difference in how things progress. But it is indeed heralding the unification of much of this evolution of human consciousness.
Could you say something about the size, shape, and the expansion of the universe? And do your friends ridicule you about the cosmological constant theory that you came with?
Well, there's not a lot of ridicule where I am at this time. And just like if you're talking about the macrocosm of science, the microcosm of a personal life, when you look back on your personal life from afterlife and you look at some of the things you did in life that seemed wrong or such, you're able to extract the wisdom from those events or those decisions or what have you. So, no, there is not a lot of ridicule at all about that. And for us in this world, where I am now, the universe is a much different perspective. There are many things that I did not know until after I lost my physical body and was able to look at it through the energy. And one of the things that I have brought forth in this work that I have been able to do through Afterlife with Barbara is a unified field theory along with maps of human consciousness. And what you need to understand is that even in the perception of what's out there, from where you're sitting here in the physical lens, you are perceiving the entire universe from Earth. So yes, you can send someone out into a rocket ship and they can look at the universe, but that connection, the energy, no matter how far out you get into the universe, of that human being that's monitoring that would theoretically be monitoring the universe, is still rooted on the planet Earth. And because of this perception that without your physical body, the universe exists, only it's just the mathematics of the universe. It's not the solid experience in the lens that you have right now. So the expansion of the universe is relative to where your perception of it is. And scientists right now are on the verge of, well, we wouldn't say the verge of, because in many ways the scientific community is a rather slow, dogmatic institution of change, while spirituality and philosophy is a more rapidly expanding, but also rooted more in imagination and theoretical concepts. But what you're going to find is that in the unified field, are you looking through a telescope or are you looking through a microscope? If you have a true unified field, you won't be able to know the difference. And the expansion and the contraction of the universe, which takes place over billions of years from the perspective of the physical world, has a much different look outside the lens of physical existence. And so the work that I'm doing now is not just rooted in the physical lens. It's taking into account a much, much greater perspective of how energy operates when you are outside the lens of the physical world. And that's what's difficult for science to take into account right now. But we say in the next 5 years you're going to see an expansion in those scientists who are able to be more renegade, who are able to be more hybrid of it. And in that sense, you get close, when you get very, very close into the microcosm, into the source, it's not that time stops, it's that there's the distance between 1 second and this second in the lens can be, you know, literally thousands of years when you're that close to the source. So the expansion of the universe is all dependent upon where you are in the perspective of the energetic matrix of creation.
5 minutes.
Have you changed your mind about quantum mechanics?
Well, this is a new perspective. It's a theory of everything that takes into account the quantum mechanics that were going on when I was alive. And it's a completely new frontier of a scientific perspective from where I am now. So in some ways, there are many things that quantum mechanics was saying while I was alive that, yes, I have changed my mind about. But then again, if you really look at where science is going, you will see that E equals mc squared really is the unified field. And scientists will begin to uncover that in the years ahead. We want to thank you for listening and for being in this energy. We hope that we have inspired you to think in new ways, to feel in new ways, and to use your own body as this instrument of scientific exploration. So as you go forth, watch the world, watch your thoughts, watch your intuitions, watch your emotion, watch what is manifesting in front of you, and then you will only need to watch